Welcome back to another episode of The Resilient Philosopher. This is the Leon Dantes. And today I want to talk to you about the difference between a person with a position or title in leadership to a servant leadership. And it's important for me to touch on this subject because it seems that the lack of servant leadership is seen everywhere. It is something that has kind of gone in extinction, or at least it's a dangerous species, because it is missing within every format of life. The reason why I say this is because when you acquire a title, when you acquire a title that requires you to be a leader, well, you are a leader by de facto. You have the title, therefore you can tell people what to do. And the expression "it went to his head" is very common and thrown around, and it's not so much that it went to his head, I think, or their head. It is more that they never knew how to lead. So how do we learn to lead? Is the interesting question to ask. And the best way that I can think of is servant leadership. See, to be a servant leader, you don't require a title. You simply see a need and you help out. You simply take initiative to get things done. If you're in the grocery store, for example, and somebody cannot reach the higher, you ask, hey, do you need help? And you help them out if you can, because it's the right thing to do. I mean, you don't have to be in a leadership position to do that. Serving leadership does not require a position. You simply understand and know that you can help others. And by doing so, you taking initiative, you are leading the way. And since you're leading the way, that's what a leader does. See, a true leader does not focus on what do I get out of this. A true leader does not focus on being the alpha or beta. None of that matters. A true leader sees the gap, the space left from leadership, and just takes it over. It doesn't ask permission. It doesn't ask for anything because it is the right thing to do. Imagine if every time that you were to do something nice for someone else, you had to ask permission to be in a position to help them. There's many ways to help people sometimes. And if it requires asking someone else to help you do it, you do not need per se permission in certain circumstances because you're just filling in that gap of maybe you know someone that can help them and you're like, hey, I might know someone that can help you. Do you want me to reach out to them? And if they say yes, you do so. But you don't simply see a problem and just say, oh, there's a problem and walk away from it. That is not leadership. So when you start with a foundation, and by that I mean as a child, you do things because it's the right thing to do, not for money, not for any personal satisfaction. Help us set up the table. When you ask for that, it's for the satisfaction of knowing that you helped with dinner, that you help your parents, that you help give in to dinner tonight. Servant leadership also requires for the father or the mother to actually say, you know what, I'm busy in doing this, but it's important that we at least have one meal together. So I'm going to put it aside and have dinner with unconditional time frame. See, when you start showing the initiative of leadership, of serving leadership, knowing that it doesn't matter how much money you're making, it doesn't matter what position you have outside the house. When you walk into the house, you're either mom, dad, or son, or daughter. And by doing so, you are part of something else, something greater, a better team per se. And therefore, as hard as it is to do, especially here in the United States, maybe not in other countries, but it can be hard to actually leave behind your workday. Sometimes you have to bring work home. Well, this is the thing. When you show the initiative to put those things aside and spend time with your family and then pick up where you left off with work, you're not truly showing that leadership mentality at home. Your kids are not seeing it. Your spouse is not seeing it. So the initiative starts at home. You lead in the house, and you don't lead by title, and you don't make others bow down to your leadership. So recently I posted online the importance of letting women into leadership roles. And I got a comment back saying, well, women shouldn't lead. That is that husband's position. And I did not like that answer. I did not like that answer because as in serving leadership, there's no such thing as a title. So if the couple has agreed that the man in the relationship is to take the lead, only the man himself should be emotionally intelligent enough to listen to his spouse and his entire family. When you run the household in a form of tyranny, whether it's the mother or the father, it don't matter. But if there's a tyranny to it, it's not serving leadership. It's just a tyranny, a dictatorship. You don't dictate people what to do and them have to do it because you said so. That right there, because I said so, doesn't get anywhere. It just doesn't. It might get somewhere in the short term, but in the long term, you lose more. And eventually, you're going to get I'm not going to do it. And if I have to leave the house, I'll leave the house. I'm not doing it. And then that puts you in a bind. The point being that whether it's the male or the female, whether it is the husband or the wife, both are part of the leadership. And serving leadership, maybe one will have to show the face of the family, but both adults are equally important in the marriage. And they're both, therefore, will be under the leadership command. So it is, to me, essential for that to be understood. If you're looking at a title, you can title anything. The word God is title. It's a title itself. Whether you're a Mr. or Sir or Mrs. or Miss, it just doesn't matter. You either are in a team where the leader of the team is a servant leader and is willing to listen to the members of the team and help out in any possible way that they can, then you're not in a good team. A person that leads by title will always take credit for everything that is done because he wants to move up titles. And most likely they will break every single step along the way. And that's usually how they fall down all the way back to the ground. See, a servant leader has known the team, has worked with the team, and will be a member of the team, whether he's all the way in the top of that ladder or has to walk his way back down to help you in the bottom. They don't care. To them, the position is equal to more responsibility, not more authority. A serving leadership will, or a serving leader will not ask of you to do something because you said so. A serving leader will bring you on board, listen to your voice, and tell you at the very end, look, you might not understand or agree with me, and I respect that, but I am going to take full responsibility for the outcome of my choice. And even at that point, whether they don't agree, even I am pretty sure that person will not turn against you. Because them knowing I was heard, I was paid attention to, I mean something in the team, and if he's willing to take the full blowback, I'll back him up. That is the importance of servant leadership. And I don't know if by now you have noticed, but that is the same type of leadership that Jesus of Nazareth taught. And I would say it like that because to me, he is a spiritual philosopher and he was a great servant leader. But I do not believe in the Christianity that we particularly see nowadays because it lacks that. Now, in every member of any religion that shows the attributes of servant leadership, I'll give them recognition. And if it helps you to study about Jesus in order to get there, so be it. If you need to read Stoicisms in order to get there, by all means, whatever philosophy you need in order to get to that point. But here in the Resilient Philosopher podcast and Vision Leon LLC website, it's all about serving leadership. That is the type of philosophy that I have for leadership and I will always have because I've never cared for titles. Titles are only more responsibilities within an organization that will care less eventually unless if all the higher management believes in servant leadership, if they want to get rid of you, they will get rid of you. It don't matter how good of a leader you are. If an organization that does not believe in servant leadership, they won't care. But if your organization, the one that you're working for, the one that you're building, or the one that you would like to build in the future is set in servant leadership, that type of company will be great. Because when everyone in a company is seen as one, whether it's the CEO or the janitor, it creates a strong company. It creates a very strong company and a strong, united company full of leaders will always strive to succeed no matter how difficult things are. Because in true leadership and true serving leadership, the word no does not exist. They always try to get things done one way or another because you're there to serve, not yourself, others. And others include your customers. Others include your superiors. Others include yourself and your family. That is why if I ever was to give any advice to anyone starting a business is to never ever forget that you must invest in your team. That at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much your bonus is if your team is suffering. And to any corporation that truly wants to see a change in the world, I recommend the same thing. It is not socialism when companies take initiative to help its employees, to help pay them for their education, for their health care, and for time off. If you reinvest in your employees instead of stockholders, you will gain more. And what is so sad is how here in America, the government doesn't care and neither does the corporations. And at the end, I think they lose the true long run effects, I should say. Because in the future, when there is no middle class, when there is no working class, because they either have disappeared or because they have retired, you will have two classes, the wealthy and the poor. And never in history of the world has the wealthy people been greater than the poor. And when you outnumber the rich, and the illusion of getting wealthy is gone because that curtain in between poor and wealthy now is broken, they're going to come from the wealthy. And no servant leadership or any titles will save you then. It might not happen in your lifetime, might not happen on mine. But if corporations don't wake up and start doing what governments are not doing, you will lose more. You will lose a lot more. And I hope you're noticing that more and more nowadays. A new generation is coming up the ranks, which is the Generation Z, but it's the Alpha, Generation Alpha, that will be judging not only Generation X, but it will be judging the millennials for what we did and will do. So to those young CEOs, young executives, and for those that can remember the past, reinvest in your employees. And don't start from the top to the bottom. Start from the bottom to the top. If you have a united company under the same mentality where people see that their efforts are being rewarded, either through healthcare or through everything. But let's say, just an example, if all the top executives gave up 30% of their bonuses to reinvest within the company by helping their workers from the bottom to the top, by paying their health insurance, by paying their education. Then your raises at the end of the year, per se, would only be to subsidize the cost of living. If the cost of living hasn't gone up, you don't give much of a raise. But if you give them free health care for the entire family, pay the education, if not the previous education, at least new education for them to grow within the company. If you could do both, even better, but at least one of them. Because that way they feel that you are investing in them. And if you're investing in them, they will invest in you. Now, think about the bosses you've had. Think about the mentors you had in your family. And when you see yourself, who do you see? Because at the end of the day, it's not going to be about who taught you or where did you learn that from. You are going to be remembered. You will be the one remembered. And it will be your decisions as the company owner or high executive to have made a difference. So my question to you is, which type of leadership do you would rather have? A leadership with a title where people only follow you because of your position within a structure, organization, industry? Or would you rather have fellow leaders, servant leaders next to you, helping you along the way in the journey of life, where there's so much difficulties and problems being faced on every single day, but yet you can say proudly, it's your choice. Please visit our website, visionleon.com, for more content. A article based on this podcast episode will be released together with the episode. And if you can, I have 3 books. One of them is the show is named after it. The Resilient Philosopher, The Prism of Reality. It is now available in digital format in Apple, Barnes & Noble, and Amazon Kindle. And it's also available in Barnes & Noble hardcover, and in Amazon soft hard cover. We also have the book, the Mastering of the Self, The Resilient Philosopher, Volume 2, and the first book ever released by Vision Leon, LLC, Leadership Lessons from the Edge of Mental Health, The Resilient Philosopher, Volume 1. But overall, what is more important than those books, what is more important than anything that we do at Vision Leon LLC, is that you are always fighting for yourself, that you are able to have a great form of self-care and always put your mental health first. Remember, only you can show up for yourself. Remain strong, and until the next episode, this is the Leon Dantes, the Resilient Philosopher.